So welcome to week 2 of our mindfulness. Look at that, I forgot to change the title. It's actually 2023.
Oh, that's okay, bud. That's okay.
I definitely, I'm like everybody. I've got too much going on and too much flowing in and out. And sometimes I miss those things too. But
Yep.
yeah, I did a similar class last year, but this year is, it's the same basic 6 sessions. Although I've added some stuff in and really trying to, as you'll see, I've got another slide on building the habit, because that's really one of the most important things of this whole 6 weeks is trying to get yourself into the habit so you remember to do the practices. And I'll be asking you in a minute if you were able to get some of those done in the first week. But again, remember, it's not like you get an A if you did it every day, although that does deserve a good pat on the back if you did it daily. But for a lot of us, it's hard to fit it in. And even my own practice, I've been doing this for about 10 years. You know, it ebbs and flows, and some weeks are better than others. Sometimes you just get caught up in the ebb and flow of just daily life, and things get really busy. So yes, indeed, we're all human. Yes. All right, so I'll have to remember to change that. I want to also say there's still time. About 11 or 12 of you did do the mindful attention and awareness scale. There's still time to do that. If you want to do that, send it in to me. Again, what I do with those is I put them all together into a group score, a group average. And then at the end of the class, I compare it. And usually we see a pretty significant increase. So if you can do that and send it in to me, it's pretty quick. It's 15 items. You could probably do it in under 5 minutes, and either take a picture of it and send it to me, or scan an email, or whatever is easiest. So moving on to today, we're going to focus on attention and the body, and we'll be doing what's called the body scan, which is a classic meditation exercise. But we're also going to be talking about mindful movement, which is a great alternative, because we don't always have time, especially in the workday. We don't have time to sit and close our eyes and meditate, but we can do some movement. And so that's a big part of it. We could also mention mindful eating, which there's a couple of practices you can try. But before I get into everything, and before I open it up for your feedback, let's take a mindful minute and just pause and turn inward. And just notice your body sitting here, and just kind of feel into the body, and just notice, what's the state of your body right now? You can close your eyes if you like. You don't have to, though. Just sort of being aware of the position of your body, maybe the temperature, the comfort level or discomfort level. Maybe there's some tension somewhere. Just checking in and doing a brief kind of scan of what's going on in the body. Maybe that brings up, maybe feel like you need to have a drink of water, or to stretch, or to have something to eat. It's lunchtime. So what do you notice? And then turn your attention to your breathing, and for a few cycles, just follow the inflow and the outflow of your breath. Again, as we discussed last week, you may notice your mind wanders, and that's okay. Just bring it back to the breath. Let yourself rest on the waves of your breathing. Maybe let yourself relax and settle as you breathe. Let the mind rest and be still. Let the body also rest. And now bring them together. Feel the whole body here, feel the body breathing with kind of a more open and expansive awareness. Feel the whole body breathing. Maybe taking a big, full, deep breath. And as you breathe out, we'll finish, and you can open your eyes if they've been closed. So hopefully that helps to bring us here and bring our attention a little more focused and centered. So again, welcome everyone. Hope you're doing well. Hope your last week was good, and would like to know how your practice went. You can use the chat, or you're also free to unmute yourself and let me know if you'd rather talk or type rather than type. Either way. But what worked for you last week? Or what was a challenge? Were you able to do the sitting meditation, the breath meditation? If you were able to get into the MLife app, how did that work for you? I'm curious to know if that was something you're able to use. I also sent you links to our meditation page on our EFR website, Achieve Solutions. So that's another way, as well as through the app, to get those exercises. So how did it go? Anybody? A couple of chats in here, I see. Good. It was nice, relaxing. The MLife app is great. Yeah, it is. You have to explore it a little bit, I find, but it has a lot of different options. What I like about it, it has live options. And somebody says here, yes, on-demand programs are engaging. Yes, I thought so too. A lot of different topics, right? Listen to one of the videos. Good. Excellent. Very, very good. Relaxing. Able to meditate, but more comfortable not sitting. Is this okay? Yes. I would say, especially at this point, use any posture that works. Rick Hansen, who's written a few great books and does a podcast with his son. What's it called? The name is escaping me. But anyway, he says he's got a great, he sends out a weekly newsletter too, if you want to sign up for him, Rick Hansen. Anyway, he says the best meditation that you can do is the one that you will do. In other words, the best meditation is the one that works for you. So if it works standing, for a long time when I was commuting more, I did a lot in the car, and it seems kind of crazy, but we'll talk about that, how you can actually do some driving related, obviously you don't close your eyes, but you can do stuff in the car. I've heard of people, they don't have time, so they drive to where they're going. Before they get out of the car, they sit for a few moments and do a mindful practice, especially maybe before you get home and you kind of get into the second part of your day. People do that. So yeah, so you don't have to sit if you want to stand. And we're going to talk today about movement. So you can bring mindful awareness to lots of different activities.
But I'll
Yes,
just
go ahead.
add, I feel like talking today instead of typing. I'm a little ahead of the mindful movement, but I find moving and meditating really helpful. And I work with a group of women every morning, and we do like a movement meditation to
Nice.
music. And I'm actually going to be offering it at Greenwich Hospital for Valentine's Day.
All right.
So to me, moving to music helps me to stay in my body and to stay present and to release tension and bring mindfulness to the moment. And I feel this momentum going in life right now and being asked to do more and more. And it's really challenging me with my mindfulness practice. So I have to be kind to myself, because
Yeah.
I have to remember that I'm human.
That's rule number one.
Pauses.
Right.
And
Rule
to
number
take
one.
the pauses.
Yes, be kind to yourself.
This is a brief mindful pause at your work area.
I wonder where that came from. But I'm glad, Roberta, thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm glad you mentioned the music. Everything I do in the classes are silent. There's no music in the background, but if you like music and that helps, do that. You know, there are some meditations with music in the background. You can find them. I haven't come across any on the M Life app, but on certain apps do have music, or if you just want to put on some calming music in the background. There's actually a twice a month music meditation also that Cassandra Mulcahy does. They're a 15-minute Zoom on the, I'll send out the flyer on it, but it's done twice a month on Friday afternoons. And that's her specialty. She does music meditation. She does music. She's a music therapist at Bridgeport Hospital. I think she works in the psychiatry areas. And those are really cool too. So
I've attended 2 of them, Bud, and they're excellent. Excellent.
Excellent. Good to hear. So I'll send out the flyer when I send out the rest of the stuff. And you can be creative about other ways too. So great suggestion, you know, that Roberta also says about doing it with a group, doing it with some movement, whatever works. I'm going to give you a bunch of different suggestions today as well. So let's see. I started doing the 10-minute phone meditations at work and love them. Good. Yeah. And don't forget, I do those, if that's what you're talking about, the daily phone meditations, 10 minutes. That's all it takes. So I think I've got that in one of the slides for sure. Practice went great. I have to access the app. Good. Appreciate the reminder. Lots of good 10-minute options on YouTube. Right. Exactly. There are lots of options out there. That's really not hard to find any of these. What's hard is to do them, right? You know, so just scheduling, here's apropos, just scheduling myself to stop, pause, and have some quiet time was a positive motivator. So yeah, you got to schedule the time. You got to make it happen. And that's the whole trick of building the habit about it. So great comments. Thank you. Anybody have any difficulties or any challenges? Because I know it's not easy in the beginning, especially if you're starting a practice. Sometimes the biggest challenge is really just finding the time and the place. So it is helpful. Well, in a slide or two, I'll get to that, but it's helpful to set a specific time that you might do that. And that might change. It might change on your workday. It might change on the weekend. You know, what throws me off sometimes is when I take time off and I go on vacation, and that throws my whole regular schedule off routine. Well, and then Jen just said the same thing. So we're on the same wavelength. Yeah, I mean, so try to find other ways during your weekend. And maybe it's not, well, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say maybe it's not possible. Of course it's possible. But try to find other ways. I mean, maybe today this will give you some suggestions for movement or getting out on a walk or eating, mindfulness. You know, there's lots of ways to do it. Great. So thanks, everybody. Really, really appreciate those comments and your feedback. So today we're going to be talking about developing patience, curiosity, being kind to yourself. As we learn the body scan, you already had to do that with the sitting meditation. And so today we kind of bring the mind and the body together, connecting the dots between the 3 buckets of being aware of thoughts, feelings, and body sensations, and the importance of acceptance. I'll talk about attitudes that are helpful to this process and seeing afresh, in other words, beginner's mind. We'll talk about that in just a moment as well. But before I get to that, I want to talk a little bit about a couple more definitions. Mindfulness means maintaining a moment by moment awareness of our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations and surrounding environment. So you're not just in a cocoon, you know, it's what's going on around you as well, so that you can be aware of the internal weather, but also the weather around you. And then the second one, which is really important because we have to remember mindfulness also involves acceptance, meaning that we pay attention to our thoughts and feelings without judging them. It's hard to do that, you know, we automatically judge and have opinions about things without believing, for instance, that there's a right or wrong way to think or feel in a given moment. Sometimes we have feelings and judgments about our feelings, right? I shouldn't feel that way, or why do I feel that way? I'm dumb if I feel that way, whatever they are, you know. So we're really, that's where the kindness comes in. And we're going to spend a whole class on self-compassion, or at least part of that class. I think it's number 6. And our thoughts, so we practice mindfulness, our thoughts tune into what we're sensing in the present moment rather than rehashing the past or imagining the future. So obviously we can easily get caught up into rehashing the past or worrying about the future. So anyway, all these practices help us stay present, and that's what it's all about, right? So this is from Tara Brach and Jack Kornfield. This is one of their little articles. I got it from a course that I took. It was a 40-day mindfulness challenge. I think you can find it. I think you can find it on Insight Timer if you're interested in that, but you do have to pay for the courses on that. Insight Timer is a great app, and their usual meditations, which there are thousands of them, are free. But if you want any of the courses, you do have to pay for that as an annual fee. But it's also an excellent app. So 5 tips for establishing a meditation practice. So practice most days, even if you only have a short time. So you might try that on the weekend, for example, or on one of your really busy work days. Less willpower, more habit stacking. So what that means is less forcing yourself and willing yourself to do the practice. Tie it to some habit that you already do, whether it's, I don't know, making the coffee in the morning. I do it with some stretching in the morning. That's what I've come to link that together. So the habit of doing the stretching now becomes when I do my morning meditation. Adopt an attitude of curiosity. Attitudes are really important, but being curious about what's going on, you know, up here and in your heart, in your feelings and in the body, being curious without judging it. Get comfortable, don't overthink it. So, you know, as the question about standing okay, yeah, be comfortable. And, you know, you see people in pictures sitting on a cushion cross-legged. I can't do that personally. I just, my legs just won't sit that way. So I sit in a chair, and everything I've ever read on all this stuff says, whatever makes you most comfortable. But sitting in a chair, for example, maybe if you sit back and get too comfortable, you fall asleep. So maybe you sit up a little bit and you sit forward on the edge of the chair. Maybe you open your eyes or keep them slightly open rather than closing them. So experiment with different things and see what works for you. And be really kind to yourself. So, you know, if you find yourself saying, I'm not good at this, or I'm having too many thoughts, or it's not working for me, that's where you need to try to be aware of that and say to yourself, okay, I'm learning a new thing here. I can do this. Don't be down on yourself. Give it some time, give it some patience. And that's, you know, it's really one of the attitudes that we're going to be talking about. But one of the things that gets in the way, and I use this cartoon a lot, is our monkey mind, right? I think somebody mentioned it last week. Our minds can feel like monkeys frenetically jumping from branch to branch. You know, that's our thoughts, right? There's lots and lots of activity going on up there. And we know that that can be very distracting. We know it feels like we have ADHD, which actually, when you think about our modern world, yeah, we have too much information. They did a study, I might have mentioned this, but they did this study. The average adult spends 47% of their time not paying attention to what they're doing while they're doing it. 47% of the time. So our minds are wandering all the time. They're just going off to various different things. A distracted mind. They also found that when the mind is wandering, we tend to be less happy. We tend to focus more on negative things. That's our negativity bias. So another good reason to pull us back into the present moment, to bring us back to right here, right now. Everything's okay. I'm safe. I'm good in this moment, and go from there. Let's see. So meditation can help to train and steady that monkey mind. It's the focus that we can train into our mind. You know, we're never going to get rid of thoughts. That's not the point. But we can get out of our head and into our body. And that's why the body scan today and movement and walking and all those kinds of things really are helpful, because they do get us out of the head and into the body. All right, so attitudes. Attitudes for today. Beginner's mind, as I said, so all beginner's mind really means is approaching each thing with like as if you've never done it before, like as if you're an alien trying this completely new, different thing. So when we do the body scan, see if you can just try to, even if you've done it before, just try to really approach it with this beginner's mind. And you'll see what I mean when we go through the body scan. Also, to be patient. You know, we realize maybe sitting for 10 minutes or so, if you can do it longer, is even better. But sitting for 10 minutes is not easy. You have to be patient. We get restless. That's another common barrier thing that gets in the way. So we get impatient, we get restless, we say to ourselves, I got to move, I got to get out of here. You know, so that's another thing to be aware of. And acceptance of all of that. Acceptance of what's here right now, acceptance of what's as we go through the body, you know, acceptance of their perhaps parts of the body or things in our body that cause us discomfort or that we're not happy with. So we try to accept that. So those are the 3 attitudes that are important today. There are actually 9 that this video is part of your homework. There's a link here, but there's another link towards the end that John Kabat-Zinn goes through all 9 of them. So each one he spends about 2 or 3 minutes on. So it's really good to listen to. All right, so that brings us to our body scan. And I'm going to start actually with, before I get into the scan itself, an essay that I came across, and this again is from Tara Brach and Jack Kornfield. It's from that same course, I think, actually. So here's the essay. Let's listen to this first, and then we'll do the body scan. I am the pain in your head, the knot in your stomach, the unspoken grief in your smile. I am your high blood pressure, your fear of challenge, your lack of trust. I am your hot flashes, your fragile low back, your agitation and fatigue. You tend to disown me, suppress me, ignore me, coddle me, condemn me. You usually want me to go away immediately, to disappear, to slink back into obscurity. Most times than not, I am only the recent notes of a long symphony, the most evident branches of roots that have been challenged for seasons. So I implore you, I am a messenger of good news, as disturbing as I can be at times. I'm wanting to guide you back to those tender places within yourself, the place where you can hold yourself with compassion and honesty. I may ask you to alter your diet, to get more sleep, exercise more regularly, breathe more consciously. I might encourage you to see a vaster reality and worry less about day-to-day fluctuations. I may ask you to explore the bonds and wounds of your relationships. I am your friend, not your enemy. I have no desire to bring pain and suffering into your life. I am simply tugging at your sleeve, too long immune to gentle nudges. You are a being so vast, so complex, with amazing capacities for self-regulation and healing. Let me be one of the harbingers that leads to the mysterious core of your being, where insight and wisdom are naturally available and called upon with a sincere heart. So obviously that's all about our body, the messages that our body is sending us. And when we are disconnected from our body, we can't listen to the messages that are essential for our well-being. And this also limits our ability to sense what's going on with others. All right, so with that in mind, let's go into the body scan. And remember, try to bring some patience, curiosity, the beginner's mind, and acceptance. Quick word or two about a body scan. It can be done standing up. It can also be done laying down. Great way to fall asleep at the end of the day. It can be done sitting. So take any position that you're most comfortable with. And we're going to start by simply getting settled on your seat or however your body is, standing or laying down. Finding a posture that's comfortable for you for the next few minutes. Taking a moment to really adjust that posture so that you're relaxed and comfortable and at ease as best you can be. You can close your eyes. If you prefer, you can keep them slightly open, but with a steady downward gaze down in front of you. Just allow yourself to relax and be supported. Give yourself permission to do that. This time is for yourself. It's like a gift to yourself, right? Take a moment now and simply notice the sensation of your body resting here. Gently shift your attention now to the feeling of your breath. Take a few longer, deeper breaths. Feel the in-breath and then the out-breath. Know when you're breathing in, know when you're breathing out. Now let the breath be natural and easy. We'll begin by directing attention to various parts of the body. This will help us to train our attention, but also feel at ease. So bring your attention to the top of your head and notice any sensation that might be there. Scanning around the skull and then the forehead, letting go of worries. Bring your attention to your eyes. Let them soften, let the muscles around the eyes and the brow soften. Being aware of the ears and noticing any sounds around you. Let them be as you feel your ears. Then shift your attention to your mouth and lips. Let the muscles around the mouth relax. Let the muscles of the jaw relax. Feel inside the mouth, feel the moisture, feel the tongue, inner cheeks, upper palate. Just feel around inside the mouth, and let the tongue be very relaxed. If you feel like it, you can smile slightly. Even just a half smile can bring a sense of friendliness and kindliness to yourself and your nervous system. You can even let that smile spread upwards towards your eyes and downwards into your shoulders and chest, and let the smile spread, let that friendliness spread throughout your body. Coming back to the throat and neck area, breathe into the throat and neck so you're kind of feeling from the inside out. Appreciating this time where you can just be quiet. Now gently release tension from the shoulders, arms, and hands. Might spend a moment or so feeling the hands. Sometimes we notice sensations of coolness or warmth, or just the feeling around the skin of our hands, maybe even some tingling or pulsation. Take a deep breath again and feel your chest and lungs and heart. So you're feeling inside as well as outside, the upper part of your torso. Slight movement as you breathe. And notice if there's a sensation of relaxation and expansion as you breathe in, and a sense of softness as you breathe out. Now feel the length of the spine down to your pelvis. Notice the groundedness of your hips, buttocks, lower part of your torso. Feeling the pressure and support. Bring your awareness down into your legs and notice the length and volume of your legs, the thighs, the knees, the calves. The ankles. And the feet. And spend a little time with the feet like we did with the hands, and notice the contact your feet make with the ground. That sense of touch. And maybe again, the coolness or warmth or tingling. See if you can just notice even the different parts of the feet, the balls of the feet, the heels, the arch, the tops, the toes. And slowly and smoothly now, move your attention to your breath, moving through the whole body. You're kind of zooming out with your attention, feeling the breath move through the whole body, gently releasing any tension, especially on the out breath. Let tension be released, let the body be relaxed, letting the earth support you. Letting gravity do its thing. And notice how you feel right now. Perhaps appreciating if you have a quieter mind and a more relaxed body. But whatever you're feeling is fine. take some time now to just rest with whatever you are experiencing. This practice is helping you be more present through feeling your body. So remind yourself throughout your day to bring this practice into your life, remembering you are not just your thoughts, but that you also have a body that is connected to the earth. And as you do this, you may find that you have more clarity and ease, which benefits not only you, but others as well. Now, please open your eyes if they were closed and bring your attention to wherever you are. Feel free to stretch a little bit if that feels right, and thank yourself for your practice. All right, so that's the body scan, and hope you found that nice and relaxing. But again, whatever your experience was is fine. Any thoughts, any comments? What did you notice? Again, you can use the chat. You can speak up if you'd like, but just curious about, remember, we're kind of always asking ourselves, what do we notice when we do these practices? That's kind of where the insight comes in. What do we notice about parts of our body that we haven't normally put our attention on? What do we notice about thoughts about them?
I was just going to comment that I need to remind myself of how much just whatever that brief period of time was, the difference it could make from
Yes.
finishing up a meeting, worrying about whether I would get here on time and all, not relaxed at all. And in a brief period of time, I feel like I'm being kind to myself.
Wonderful. I hear it in your voice.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's such a good reminder that that practice, I didn't time it, but it was probably about 8 or 9 minutes, maybe 10. Again, the more we do it, the better at it we get. The more we're able to tap into that sense of being calm and centered, even when we're facing stressful meetings or work projects or just too much to do, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm glad you felt that. When we remember to do the practices, that gives us that sense of reward, of that feeling perhaps, and that helps us the next time to do it again. We have to be careful. We can't always expect to be relaxed, because sometimes we want to be relaxed. We need to be relaxed. And, there's so much going on that it's hard to relax. But again, the practice will certainly help. So appreciate that comment. All right, a couple more comments. So much more relaxed. Good. Feeling very relaxed and calm. Thank you. I love the body scan to release tension and let go to relax, especially to do this at work. Good. Yeah, sometimes we think of the body scan as something to do, I don't know, maybe not at work, but I think it's something we can do at work. You notice I hold tension in my jaw and I open it to release. My body felt warm and my hands felt warmer as the body scan went on. Yeah, excellent. We don't often, the jaw and the shoulders are two areas, I know for me anyway, that I don't normally realize I have tension in. But when I just really do a scan and check it out and consciously let those areas soften and relax, I realize, yeah, I was holding tension there. And it's no wonder, towards the end of the day, I start to feel a little bit of soreness. And then feeling the body getting warmer and the hands warmer. Yeah, that's when we are relaxed, the blood flow is better to the extremities. So good, very good. All right, well, so that's part of the practice is the body scan. So there will be a link to that, and you can also, I've come across it on the MLife app, but there's a direct link also. So either way, try to look for that. And, but, once you do it 2 or 3 times, you kind of get used to it. You can do it anyway, just starting at the top of the head or the feet or the fingertips and just scan through part by part, noticing what you feel. Maybe there's nothing much to feel, but noticing tension, letting things relax, breathing, coming back when you get distracted. I mean, that's all it really is. You can kind of do it on your own too. Although I think it's easier to get, led through a guided relaxation or a guided somebody, going through it with you part by part. But you can try it on your own, and that is a good way to fall asleep. If your mind is racing and you got a lot before you're trying to drift off, body scan is a great way to get out of the head and into the body. So I mentioned this, but maybe just trying some cat stretches. So do this with me right now, whatever feels good. And of course, with the caveat, be gentle. Don't do anything that would hurt a particular area. If you've got back pain, for example, or a sore neck or something like that, just really be aware of, that and be careful. But you might, arch out the back a little bit. You might, probably wouldn't be able to do some of these stretches that these kitties are doing, but gentle, easy, mindful. You probably do some stretching throughout the day without even thinking about it. But what I want you to do now is bring your attention to the stretch. And maybe you do some, head rolls, gentle, easy head rolls. And as you do that, just feeling the stretch, in the neck, you can feel it all the way up to the side of the head and down to the muscles in the shoulders, and then going in the other direction. Those kinds of things, or shoulder rolls, or bringing the shoulders up towards the ears and then letting them drop and relax. Whatever feels right. Maybe, we do a lot of typing. So maybe stretching out the hands and the fingers, holding it for a few seconds, and then letting them relax. Just try some different things, but do it mindfully, do it slowly, maybe a little slower than you normally would do it, and give it some mindful attention as you do that. So we can also hear some creative ways for movement. If you want to get moving a little bit more than just a slow, gentle stretch, doing some stair climbing and being aware of, if you really kind of want to get the blood pumping a little bit and get some more energy, do some of this. But again, be aware of the movement of your body as you do it. There's some other examples: skipping to music, or jump roping, or power cleaning as you clean the house. That's something maybe on the weekend. TV time, we tend to sit and be bumps on a log when we're watching TV, maybe doing some movement or exercise during the commercials. So just different ways to think about injecting these into the day. Here's one that I really love. I mean, this is, can be done anytime we're walking anywhere. Think about if you're walking to a meeting, or you're walking back to your computer to, get onto a Zoom or a Teams meeting, whatever. Usually we're thinking about what's our part in it is, and what we want to get across, and what the agenda is, and did you have to bring, our minds get really full. Not to, not plan. I'm not saying not to do that, but give yourself a break. And as we're walking, just simply pay attention to the act of walking. There is actually a link to this, and it kind of guides you through it, but it can be as simple as just being aware of the movement of your feet, the placing, the lifting of each foot, noticing how your foot contacts the ground, being aware of your legs and the bend of the knee as you're walking. And again, you can slow down. The classic walking meditation is done inside, and maybe just in, say, 10 feet or so, 10 steps, and you do 10 steps in one direction, you turn around and you do it like at half speed, and you really pay attention very slowly and deliberately to your walking. And of course, your mind is going to pull you away, so just come back every time that happens. So that's a great way to try things at any point during the workday or on the weekend. There's a link for this. It's not on this page. This is not an active link here, but this is a link to I think it's about maybe a 4-minute video of some mindful movement to stretch out and nourish the spine. So it's a little more vigorous. Again, gets the blood pumping a little bit. And then this is another one, Thich Nhat Hanh. There's a link to 10 mindful movements that he does. Lasts for a good 14 minutes, I think. So he really takes time as he goes through these 10 movements. That they're all done standing. So these are something to go through and watch the video, give it a try, very slow, very mindful, easy to do. They're not difficult at all. There's a couple that involve a little bit of balance, so kind of interesting to see how it feels balancing ourselves. And then there are a couple of videos on gentle, mindful yoga as well. So there are a couple of links there, and there's not a full out yoga. It's not difficult. Again, very easy to do. And the video has she demonstrates it, but then there's a person demonstrating a very gentle, modified version too. If you have some, issues with moving or anything, again, sore back or something like that, or that makes it difficult, but there's a couple of very modified ways to do that. So those are other things that you can try. This is all part of the daily practices that we'll be asking you to do throughout the week. You can also try mindful eating. So, of course, this involves the body. There's a couple of links here, and there's a couple of links in the slides coming up. But the classic mindful eating exercise is eating one raisin. It takes about 5 minutes, and but this is a link that goes to that exercise. So get a raisin or some other piece of dried fruit or fruit, something like that. And this is a great exercise for beginner's mind, because what you're really doing is you're eating this raisin as if you've never seen it before. You don't even know what it is. And if you think about it, it's a pretty funny looking piece of fruit, right? So you take it very slowly, you look at it, you feel it, you look at the wrinkles in it, you smell it, you see what the weight of it is. And when you finally bring it up to your mouth, slowly what happens inside the mouth, maybe some salivation starts, you put it in the mouth. Anyway, you get the idea. Try it, because it's really an interesting exercise and really slowing down and mindfully eating, and see what happens when you finally bite into that little piece of raisin. It's really amazing. Now, you can also try it with a piece of chocolate if you're so inclined. That's the alternate exercise. If you want to be kind to yourself in that way with chocolate, feel free to try that one too. And then there are some other tips for just eating mindfully. So, so often when we're eating, we're doing other things. How many of you eat and work at the same time? Don't really take a break? You might want to try taking a break for your lunch instead of working right through it. you might want to try slowing down. Don't be in a hurry. Feel the taste of the food. Maybe have some music in the background. Eat your favorite food last. Don't multitask. Sit at a real table. Sometimes we eat standing up. Respect your body and health. Drink more water. So just some tips to really be mindful with our eating. So the daily practices, the formal practice is the body scan and or mindful movement. So you could do both in a day, or you could try the body scan one day and mindful movement the next. You know, again, whatever works for you best. There is an article that I'll send that John Kabat-Zinn wrote. He calls it like tuning a musical instrument or throwing open the windows of a house to let fresh air in. Again, so much of our time we spend in our heads, thinking, analyzing, planning, and we don't often make that link between the mind and the body. So try it a few times this week. The informal practice could be any of those things, the stretching, but also the informal practice is becoming aware of how you experience and process pleasant events. So I sent out the record form for last week. There's a new record form for this week. There'll be a little spot for that. This is an interesting practice because just noticing when a pleasant event happens, usually we don't really pay much attention to it. Yeah, it maybe makes us give a little pause for a smile, but just notice when a pleasant event happens, you know, what happens to you, what thoughts come up, what emotions, what happens in the body, and maybe jot it down on that record form, okay? And so those are the practices. Here are the links that you'll get when I send the slides out. And so the body scan, these all go to our meditation page on the EFR website. There is the walking meditation, and then those, I think they're the same links to the mindful eating of the raisin or the chocolate. Those are the links to the videos for the Nourish the Spine, 10 mindful movements, and the yoga ones. Then there's also, I'll send the body scan article. There's a link to another article. If you get a chance, read that. And then the video that I mentioned about the 9 attitudes. I think that's really worth listening to, or at least part of it if you can, maybe finishing it the following week, but that's a good one. And optional, a couple of optional videos there as well. So that's it for today, folks. Before we close out, just want to check and see if there are any questions. Thank you, Roberta. I see your thank you there. Any questions before I let you go? Get a couple minutes before the top of the hour. I know sometimes we have to rush always to the next meeting. So if you have a few extra minutes before your next meeting or before lunch, maybe making an intention to yourself, bringing that mindful eating habit, or doing a quick stretch or movement before your next activity, or fill in the blank. What are you going to do this afternoon to keep it going, right? That's the whole trick. Keep it going, do the best you can, be kind to yourself, and thanks for your presence today. Thank you all. I see those thank yous coming in through the chats. Those are great. Thanks.